Hey, friends, welcome back to another exciting episode of Friends of the Squared Circle. I'm your host, Crander Q, aka my real name. As you can see, we got a couple of friends. One's bald, one's got a beard, and we're ready to show off Showtime Pro Wrestling. But before we get into this interview, let's get an ad out of the way of overdriver.org.
The official mobile app of professional wrestling. Whether you run a promotion, performance shows, or you're an avid wrestling fan, our one-of-a-kind all-in-one app is for you. Overdriver is specifically designed to grow promotions, accelerate talent careers, and help fans stay better connected to the sport. Thanks to Overdriver, promoters can easily search for and book talent, schedule and seamlessly promote shows, pre-sell and scan show tickets at the door. Wrestling talent of all kinds can increase their industry exposure with a free searchable profile, manage their calendar availability, negotiate and track their bookings, and accept booking payments. Fans can now easily search for wrestling shows, follow their favorite wrestlers and promotions, and purchase tickets all within the app. Fans want to buy tickets but don't want to build a profile? No problem. Guest checkout allows fans to easily purchase tickets without signing up for an account. Overdriver is packed with top-notch features like secured transactions for hassle-free payments between promoters and talent, as well as fans and promotions. A concise ratings and review system where talent and promoters can leave feedback to each other after bookings and publicly display their star status to demonstrate the quality of their brand. A built-in affiliate link structure to drive higher gate attendance by authorizing talent and staff to receive a commission incentive when tickets are sold through their unique affiliate links. Social media integration for coordinated marketing across various social platforms. Tailored push notifications to keep fans engaged about events booked nearby and by their favorite wrestlers and promotions.
Now, you guys need to check out that app once we're done with this interview. Go ahead and go over to Overdriver on Facebook or overdriver.org. I know I kind of butchered it telling you guys off camera, but as you can see, that beautiful video package has all the information to do. And Bob, how are you doing this morning?
Pretty good. Excited to come on and talk about Showtime and just talk about wrestling in general. It's one of my favorite things, so always up for talking about it.
Perfect. And Jared, how are you doing today?
Really good. And, I'm really glad you showed that ad. We were just, we had a meeting about a couple weeks ago, and we were talking about how to maybe get some online inclusion into our tickets and stuff. And it's just kind of interesting that happened to be the ad that you just showed. So it kind of fits roundabout what we were just looking into. So awesome.
Yeah, and I know you guys have watched previous episodes. You're busy with your kids and stuff. We do have a previous episode out there for all the friends to watch with Bill Wright. Overdriver is going to change the way wrestling is viewed and found in the future here, and I'm excited to be partnering up with them. And then, Jared, we got something here. What do we got here? Is that you? Is that you?
So this was a
what's happening?
Look at that. Dastardly. Dastard.
That looked perfectly legal to me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Totally dastardly.
That is a great video. And I don't know who sent that in, but it must have been a glitch on my side. I'm not quite sure what that was, but maybe the cat, in the other room just sent it through. I'm not quite sure. Sorry about that. Not sorry, but
It looked to me like Kevin Hawk was trying to interfere in the match, and Bobby Storm had to step in and make sure things were fair.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that Kevin Hawk guy likes to run his mouth, so
weird. Yeah. Well, we're starting out hot, boys. Bob, we'll start with you. What's new coming to Showtime here in the future here with the 2024 season upon us?
We just announced our new show yesterday. Our first show of the year is going to be February 17th in Augusta, Wisconsin. It'll be our second time there. Really, really fun place. It's actually at the Lions Club in Augusta. There's like a remodeled old church. So it has the steepled ceilings, just a really, really fun event to hold a wrestling show at. We had a really, really big crowd last time, really rowdy fans. So definitely check that out. And we have a lot of other good shows planned for the year. Some surprises, maybe a title or two. So, definitely a lot of fun stuff coming this year for Showtime.
Very nice. And Jared, do you have any involvement with planning any of that, or what is your key role coming into 2024?
So Bob and Rad and we are the, I guess as you call it, the brain trust that kind of puts everything together. I guess what I would say is if you like stories, this will definitely be a fun year for you to go to a lot of the Showtime shows because there's going to be stories speckled out throughout the entire card, and we got a couple of really fun stories to tell. And I mean, we're really looking forward to it. So.
Yeah, and I love what you guys put on there. I've been to a few shows. I know I've been absent to a few shows, but I'm hoping that we can work something out where Friends of the Square Circle can show up, hand out some stickers, hand out some autographs, shake some hands, and we're not kissing babies because that's just weird. But
hey,
hopefully,
listen, you have an open invitation. It's not my fault that you're afraid of those Ghetto Gear guys that you keep running your mouth to.
I don't know. I was hiding under the table at the last merch table, hoping Kaz wouldn't find me. So, and I'm a big guy. I am built like Otis. I am not as strong as Otis. I am just built like Otis. And I don't know how I fit under that table, but I was able to elude him, as you would say. So luckily there's a banner in front of my table. So, and he didn't hear me crying. It was pretty loud in the gym that day. So, but Bob, so we kind of briefly talked in the previous episode that you were on about your wrestling fandom. Can we just get that sped up? What was your first introduction and got you kind of hooked on wrestling?
Yeah, definitely. My cousin is Rad Lightning, Troy Brostrom, for those of you who know him.
Team Rad.
And exactly. Hear that, Kevin? So him and his brother Trent really got me into it when I was a kid, and that was just kind of what fed that love from like being a 5-year-old boy watching Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior all the way through the Monday Night Wars, just current wrestling, AEW, WWE, independent wrestling, just everything. Just, like Jared said, big fan of the storylines, big fan of the larger than life characters. So yeah, definitely a lifelong passion of mine being a wrestling fan.
How about for you, Jared? What was that? Again, you've been on multiple episodes, multiple 100 views episodes, so you got a little title there. What were some of your earliest memories, just to speed the folks up?
For me, it's as long as I can remember, my brother and I, little kids, I mean, watching the Hart Foundation evolve into, Owen and Brett, and then up through the Rockers and into the Attitude Era. And I mean, since then, I haven't stopped. So I've watched all incarnations. It's just, and then finding my path into being part of independent wrestling here in Wisconsin, which is thriving. And not just Wisconsin, the upper Midwest in general is thriving. Mm-hmm. And then, meeting Bob and Troy, and we have watch parties now for the premium live events. And it's been quite an incredible journey. And, growing up thinking that I loved pro wrestling, I didn't realize how much more I was going to love it. So here we are.
And the nice thing is, too, is like, the name of the show is Friends of the Squared Circle. Jared, we knew each other in high school, middle school, but the wrestling has kind of brought us back. You're very involved in what I do. We're always bouncing ideas off each other, as well as, you introduced me to Bob, making more friends. The wrestling community is great offline, I should say, where you get to mingle with your friends, you get to watch wrestling with your friends. Obviously, you guys have kids. You're able to pass on, the stories that you were able to watch with your brothers and your cousins now to your kids, and it's so great. Like I have been rejuvenated with this podcast plus back in 2008. Where wrestling has become a forefront for me in my passion projects. So it's, wrestling is great. Like I said, offline, because right now we have the AEW versus WWE fans, which I don't understand. It's wrestling. You say you love pro wrestling, just shut up and watch it and enjoy it. So.
No, you don't mean all those hard cam picture sides that we keep seeing online where
or where I purposely will I'll purposely pull up the other promotion why I'm there and be like, hey buddy, take a picture of me so I can have this on the internet and look cool for 10 seconds,
That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen. I don't see that happening ever.
Yeah, I don't think it's staged at all. Anything on the internet is not true, so. So do you guys lean heavy into more independent obviously like on TV? Where do you put your allegiance to? Me, I love the indies. I'd rather go to indies all day. I'd rather be at a Showtime show. I know people are going to be like, you're just saying that because they're here. I'd rather be like a Showtime show versus going to a big WWE show personally.
Yeah, like I really enjoy both. I like the atmosphere of being at the big time. I was actually wanted to go to the Rochester show today.
Oh, okay.
They have the WWE live show. Unfortunately, it didn't work out, but I like the atmosphere. I really want to take my middle son is really into wrestling and wanted to take him just to experience that. But as far as watching and interacting with the crowd, the independent show is so much different than going, because you go to a WWE show or an AEW show, and yeah, it's cool. You get to see all of the pyro, you get to hear the music, you get to see your favorite wrestlers, but all you're doing is watching that. When you go to those independent shows, you're right up close and personal. Sometimes some of the wrestlers will even get you involved, where they'll come over I've seen where they'll take the heel around, get him in the full Nelson, the kids will give him a chop on the chest. And so as far as, I really enjoy both for different reasons, like atmosphere for the bigger shows, but as far as like interacting and really feeling like you're involved in the show, independent wrestling is just on a different level.
How about you for Jared?
Yeah, before I was involved in going to the Showtime shows at the place in Halley there, having people like I have a very vivid memory of a wrestler going through a table right at my feet and watching his head bounce off the floor and going, he's dead. He is honestly dead because his head just hit the floor. And he got up and walked to the back, and I was like, man, this is crazy. And you don't get that experience necessarily at a big old AEW WWE show. And I've been to a couple of those as well. But as far as just overall experience, independent wrestling is just it's such a more intimate atmosphere if you're a fan. I mean, you're right on top of the action, which is it's not something that you're always afforded at a big WWE AEW event. So I guess I'm definitely team indie wrestling.
And not to mention, go ahead, Bob.
Sorry to cut you off there, Cal. I had some coworkers who had never been to a wrestling show, knew nothing about wrestling, and they came just to see me in the show because they're always blown away. Like, well, you were involved in wrestling, and so they'll come watch, and it turned them into a fan just being at the show. Like, never watched an episode of Monday Night Raw and never seen anything like that. They just enjoyed the atmosphere of just being at the show, being able to yell at people, cheer for the good guys. And yeah, it made fans out of them just being there, having no previous history with that at all.
And what's also great about the independent scene is, it's affordable for the family. Yes, other people can afford those ringside. Like you said, Jared, you're immersed in the action versus sitting so high up that you can kind of barely see it. But the main thing that I like is it's so personal. Those in-betweens of meeting the wrestlers, getting the chance to bring your kids or yourself just to say a few words to those people is probably my favorite part, because I get to go talk to people. I get to, buy merch. I get to actually see it being signed, and pick what I want versus just a quick autograph and then they're on to the next fan. You know what I mean? And it's not like a Comic-Con where you're all bunched into, a line of 700 people and you literally get that picture. Okay, bye. We got your money. You know what I mean? So.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, isn't that how you found your friendship with Darren Corbin? Am I not wrong?
Yeah, I mean, Darren, like, I've got probably 20 some plus 8x10s. He remembers who I am. He knows what's going on in my life. And no joke, right after that Mall of America match that he had, his match and stuff after the show got done, I bumped into him, talking to him, and the first thing he says to me is, "Hey man, congratulations on getting engaged. Randy, take a shot. We're talking about Amy here." And it was like, dude, we don't need to talk about me. I want to talk about how proud I am of you for what you did tonight. And he was more excited about what was going on in my life. Now, he just had a hell of a moment at that Mall of America show, which you can check out at First Wrestling. Go to their YouTube. They got highlights and stuff. But he wanted to congratulate me on being engaged. Randy, take a shot. So, yeah, if the wrestlers remember you, they want to know how you are. It's not just about making that quick buck. And half the time, they don't even let me pay for anything. They just give it to me. So I'd probably have to pay for a Kevin Hawk promo.
I think he should pay you. I mean, there were some kids at the last show. We're not going to say if they were his kids or not, wearing Kevin Hawk shirts, and I just about threw up in my mouth.
Straight child abuse. Child abuse.
I know.
I can't believe he's already got shirts. Like, yeah. Anyway.
Hey, I don't know what to tell you.
All right, Bob. So kind of explain to people what you do for Showtime there, would you?
Yeah, so kind of like Jared talked about earlier, myself, Jared, and Rad, Troy, we get together probably about every couple months, and we go over kind of what we want to do, how we want to progress the story, because we really want to focus, and we've been trying to focus it on 2023 more so in 2024, about really pushing those storylines, really making it so you want to come to the next show. Mm-hmm. You want to see what's going to happen. We're trying to work on more Facebook content as far as putting up videos on Facebook, trying to get that storyline. So, you're following our Facebook page, that's going to make you want to come to the show. So a lot of what I do and what we do kind of as a group is the planning of the storyline, making sure we have the venues set up. We're trying to work on getting a couple new venues this year, hopefully, as well, kind of trying to expand into different cities. And just really getting to have all of that create a wrestler stuff that I used to do on the video games, getting to live that out in real life and, help develop other independent characters. Because we work with the Academy out of the cities. We get a lot of their wrestlers will come and they'll start out and they're still kind of in that the developmental stage with their characters. So it's nice. Everybody's really great down in the locker room, bouncing ideas off of each other. Mm-hmm. As well as with me, like, I'm not a trained wrestler. I really enjoy what I do. I get in the ring and help out sometimes, but they're helping me too, kind of bouncing that off. And so just really getting to soak up that knowledge, as well as like helping them with their matches, of them going over it and saying, well, hey, what about this? What about, I saw, Bret Hart do this at the 1995 Royal Rumble or whatever. And just getting to be involved in that is it's so much fun.
Mm-hmm. How about you, Jared?
Same with Bob. We got to rehash. We get together, we talk about it, and like case in point, you look at what 2023 brought for Showtime. We knew right away that we were going to have the Summer of Sacrifice, and we put that forth, and it told a really good story, and to the moment that Aaron won the title belt in Rice Lake, and it was a very super cool moment, not only for Aaron but for those of us that knew it was happening. It was so cool to watch that happen for Aaron. Aaron's been very loyal soldier, and he shows up and he does everything that's asked of him, if not more. And the other cool thing is that I think Showtime has offered a very good mix of very experienced veterans, and we open our doors welcomely to the kids from the Academy, and they put on some banger matches. Guys like guys like Salem Lasher and Jason Rage, who we're giant fans of. Freak Show Cho, Cannon Chorus. These guys are they're awesome, and they're still young, and it's so cool to see these guys performing now, knowing how new they are, and knowing that the more they're given time to work, they're just going to get better. So I really think that with Showtime, I would say that we've definitely given them the platform that maybe they're not finding in other places right now, and that's been very successful for us. So that's kind of been where we're at, is how can we get some new faces in here, and how can we give these guys a platform and a stage to work on, because they just need to be able to paint their artwork, and we're doing that for them at Showtime. So
yeah, you guys are basically watching the grass grow down there. We always talk about Top Flight, Dante and Darius, cutting their teeth in Showtime, as well as other promotions throughout the Midwest. And now you got the next batch. It kind of makes me think of college football, where they're just getting going, and then next thing you know, it's like, oh, they're gone. But that's what makes it fun, is because you get to create these stories for the next batch of guys and gals coming through. So
absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know how many people actually realize that Dante and Darius actually wrestled in Lake Hallie, Wisconsin. I mean, that's kind of
Yep.
crazy if you think about it, right?
Yep. And I remember like sitting down with Heavy on Wrestling one night. We're out for a meet and greet thing, and I just happened to be hanging out because I had to get something out of the promoter's car. And he's just like, "Hey, come eat pizza and wings with us. You know, there's 5 of us. We need to eat all this food because everybody left." And I was like, "Well, I like free pizza." So I hung out and just, like you said, the stories that they were thinking of and creating, and it just dawned on me, like, how cool is that other part of behind the scenes that a lot of people don't get to see. And like you said, Dante and Darius, and I jokingly said, well, if they want to be taken serious in the next level, they're going to have to lose the masks. And sure enough, once they finally went to the thing, I was like, oh, okay, they're not wearing the mask. Not like it was my idea. Not that it was my idea, but it was just like in my head, I'm thinking, well, how many luchadors are really left anymore with masks? And then next thing you know, they're not wearing them. So again, not my idea. I'm not taking credit for that. So, but
No, not at all. It doesn't sound like it at all.
No. Like, I'm not trying to say like it was my thing that they took them off, because like I know them on a very respectable level because I've seen them a bazillion times down at Showtime. I've seen them at How. I've seen them at First. And probably other promotions that I can't think of. But again, I wasn't the one telling them, hey, you got to take your masks off to get anywhere, So
I'm going to make sure that I tag both of them in this video so they can watch you take credit for their success.
Yeah. You know what? I hope you start wearing a mask so I don't have to look at your smug mug, So
I mean, that's a good idea. I think Kevin Hawk should wear a mask. I think you should just get like a hawk mask with a big beak.
Yeah, like one of those ones from when the parents go into the TV movie,
Yep.
So, anywho, we're moving on. We don't want to talk about that. Sometimes I like to think I'm a host. Sometimes I like to think I'm a guest. But anywho, what were some things that you would like to see more in independent wrestling, Bob? I know you're talking the stories. What's something that you think 2024 is going to bring to the independent scene? More promotions? Are we going to see more big names? What are we going to see? What's your thought on that?
What I would like to see, and what me as a fan and as helping run the business, would be definitely big names. I mean, there's the MAW show coming up in February. Bret Hart's going to be there. Me as a fan, huge Bret Hart fan. That's they didn't have to announce the card. Like, I already wanted to go to that show.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what I'd like to get at. For us as Showtime, obviously we're not quite as big as MAW. You get to see a lot of the same guys that we have work at MAW, but trying to get that big name to come in where that's going to sell tickets right away, because they're going to go, hey, I watched him as a kid. I really want to go see him. So really trying to get that in there, and then they're going to come to meet, wrestler so-and-so, but then also get to see a good night of wrestling as well as that. And I think for a lot of fans, a lot of them, they look at the card, that's their selling point for them. But some of them, to get them in the door, they go, hey, I want to go meet Bret Hart.
Yep.
So just kind of trying to appeal to different fan bases that, maybe that's their tipping point is, well, hey, I want to go meet the Boogeyman, or I want to go meet Al Snow, or I want to go meet, specific wrestlers. And I think that's what MAW as a promotion in general is doing really well. And what, I think a lot of independent wrestlers or promotions need to strive for, is to try to find new and creative ways. And like you talked about, that app is another good way of getting it out there and getting, trying different platforms. So
definitely. And before you jump in here quick, Jared, I want to say something quick about Showtime. One thing you guys need to be very proud of is your crowds. Now, you guys haven't, like you said, you haven't had like the marquee TV talent, but you guys are selling places out just based on wrestling. So let's make sure that we put that out there for the internet to know. Showtime ain't no joke. They're selling out, folks. Go ahead, Jared. What do you want to?
Yeah, on top of that, I mean, we had our first show where we actually were told we cannot bring more people in or they are going to shut us down. That was kind of a crazy moment. And that was within 15 minutes of the doors being open. So, for us, for me, I guess, I just, I want to see people be more willing go work other places.
Mhm.
You're not tied down to certain places. Go work other places. Expand your what you can do. Make other people be able to see you. I mean, you have all this talent, and they all want to go to the big show. They all do,
Mhm.
but you're never going to do that if you're just stuck in one spot. Go and learn other places. Go wrestle with other people, and make yourself known. Get yourself out there. We have Brock Hall is a really good example of somebody who works everywhere.
Yep.
And I will tell you that you'll be very hard pressed to find better than Brock Hall right now in our area. And that's just going everywhere and working with everybody. So hopefully, we can see some talent maybe decide that they don't need to be married to one promotion. They can go work other places and expand their fan base and expand who they are. So that would be good because, that roster in WWE and AEW, they're going to need new talent, and
Yep.
they don't always have to just come from their developmental territory. I mean, you can make yourself known, and you could be the next Kevin Owens. That is definitely a path that you could take through indie wrestling. So hopefully that's a thing that happens, this year and going forward.
And the nice thing too, you mentioned go work other places, go with other people and train and work, is it's not just the same thing anymore. You don't have the '80s where everybody is the bodybuilder type. You mentioned Kevin Owens. How many times did he ever say that Seth Rollins told him, "Yeah, dude, I don't think you're going to get signed here. You don't have the look." And then next thing you know, who's the multiple time world champion? Who was the NXT champion that came in and just sent a ripple, through
Mhm.
wrestling? Like one of my favorite moments is when he just confronts John Cena and beats John Cena. Like I never in a million years thought that was going to happen. And just like Samoan Joe, he has a little bit of extra on him. He's not the bodybuilder type, but he's there toe to toe with Brock Lesnar and like, hey, I'm here, let's go. And that's another one of my favorite moments when he just yells at Brock like, hey, I'm talking to you, and just goosebumps. So
Yeah, definitely. Wrestling's definitely
And
evolved
I'll
since.
say that
just
Go ahead,
jumps
Chris.
in. This guy, I mean, doesn't he take a turn?
Yeah, that's Kevin Hawk for you. It's fine.
Probably like it's driving in the highway, just cuts everybody off. Jeez. Go ahead, Bob. I'll control the crowd here.
Thank you. So what I was gonna say was, yeah, like to your point about how wrestlers used to have to be 250 pounds, 6-pack abs, just completely jacked, looking like Ultimate Warrior out here. Well, now it's all about, at least for me, like I fell in love with a lot of the smaller guys, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. So that evolved through the 90s, and now, I mean, you can go see guys, anywhere from like 150 pounds all the way up to 350 pounds, put on just amazing matches and do things. I mean, look at Keith Lee, big guy, can move around, just like some of the luchadors can, and it just shows how much wrestling has evolved, and so that you don't have to fit into this box of, all right, you have to look like this, you have to talk like this, you have to do that. And even some people, like, they'll take what would have been a disadvantage years ago and turn it into an advantage and turn it into a character trait and things that make them special.
All right, go ahead, Jared. Gonna get blackballed here.
Yeah, I mean, when you think of some of the what you people would in the conversation of best of all time, how many of those guys are your 6'4", 6'5" guys? I mean, you got guys like Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, AJ Styles that are in that conversation of some of the best of all time, and they are not, what we
Yep.
all thought they were. They're not the Ultimate Warrior, they're not Hulk Hogan. So for anybody to think that that's what they have to be anymore, it's crazy. And you look at you look at the Showtime roster. There's all walks of life on that thing, and every one of them are just equally as entertaining. And I wouldn't say that any of them I would look at and go, well, they're just trash because of this, and this. But I think that thought process is probably becoming more and more extinct with literally each passing day. I mean, and what I was going to say previously was, not to do this whole AEW, WWE choose a side, but I will say that one of the things that made me fall in love with AEW at the beginning was I was watching people that weren't on TV that I didn't know. And now I think that was where they could have really been they really lost that for me. And I think that there's a big contingent of people that thought the same thing that are still thinking the same thing I am is, this was places I learned about who Orange Cassidy was. You see they were giving a home for guys that weren't really getting a chance, and now it's just, can we not just litter it with WWE guys? Like, let's go back to the day where you guys were introducing us to new wrestlers and building it from there. I think that, if you could get a big time promotion that that's their thought is, we're just gonna keep introducing these people to you and let them tell stories in front of the world.
Yep.
I mean, that's the goal for me, at least.
And to touch on that point too, I mean, like you said, all the WWE is coming to AEW. You're getting kind of a watered down version of it. You're not getting the same character. Case in point, Rusev's now. I can't remember what he's going by now. Miro. It's just
Miro.
Yeah, it's not resonating for me over there. Being when I watch WWE now to AEW. Granted, you can't bring the same name and same character over because of paperwork. But yeah, I totally agree with you. It was something new. It was something fresh. Getting all the new people, and now it just seems like there is a little bit of struggle. So they are bringing in new people to help get to that. But like you said, those early years, they were building a foundation on people and new characters. They didn't need all the extra people. Yes, they needed Chris Jericho in the beginning to take it, serious, but they don't need every single guy that gets cut from WWE now. And it just seems like, oh, he's cut. Now he's signed 90 days later. Dolph Ziggler might be the next one going. And it's just kind of like, why? Like, go somewhere else. And the nice thing is TNA is coming back, and they got a little bit of chip on their shoulder. So, it's another place that they can go. Versus just going straight to AEW and getting that money. But back to
don't sleep on NWA. Don't sleep on NWA.
I like the concept. I like the old school feel of it. I watched kind of about half of that first season there for a while, and then with everything going on, doing this and other wrestling things, it's just there's so much content out there you can't keep up on. And if you are, you probably got more free time than I do, and I thought I had a lot of free time. But yeah, NWA.
You're probably hosting a podcast called Friends of the Squared Circle.
Yeah, it's doing all right. It's doing pretty mild, mid. What the kids calling it.
Mid, as the kids say.
Yeah. So, but I mean, one thing we do have to shout out because it pisses Randy off. AEW Germany being the most viewed episode, so hopefully you guys could possibly break that while we're promoting Showtime. That'd be cool. You guys can get your name on the strap. Then I
gotta share it with Kevin Hawk here. So I mean, I don't know how I feel about that, but I guess I'd be okay with it, for the podcast.
Yeah, we'll find a good picture of you, and then we can just find some goofy one of him on the internet. So I'm sure I can talk to his brother. So
they're all goofy looking.
Yeah,
so.
I'm sure you won't. I'm sure you won't just put the picture of him hitting me with a chair on there. That wouldn't make a good picture or anything.
I mean, I have it. I did reach out when I was scheduling an interview with you. Hey, do you got the video of so and so getting jacked with a chair? No, I don't. Then I remembered you sent it to me. So that's how I got the footage. Is from you. Sometimes you don't send me things. You should send me things.
I will talk about that. It's really fun being able to be friends with Bob and be able to work this out because we put a lot of time into talking about what we want to do. And that moment in particular, I will say that there is some footage from backstage of us working that out. And it's probably one of the most fun things that I've ever done. And that's a weird thing saying getting hit by a chair, is one of the funnest things that's ever happened to you. But you know, it was just it's one of those things where you don't know until you do it,
Mhm.
and uh,
Yep.
and it's going to lead to some things that I also didn't think was ever going to be a thing. So you know, if anybody's wondering if I don't hate Cal or Crand or Q, and I don't hate Bobby Storm or Bob. But I will say that it has been so fun to be able to have that kind of relationship where we can actually talk about this stuff ahead of time.
Yep.
And that's why I know when Bob's constantly, oh, what a stupid name, or giving my kids stickers, which somehow found their way to. I found him in the trash the other day, which was kind of
Oof.
weird.
Oof.
I was like, hey, he paid money for these, and you guys just threw them away. So no, it's been really fun getting to go through all this with Bob and whatnot.
And like your brother said on Facebook, that you guys always watched it together, got to experience those things together, and now he's slightly jealous of you because you are working in a wrestling role, and you got to be a peacock, buddy. You got to strut that stuff, like that's big. Some people will be like, all he does is this. Well, shit, man, like you're doing it. Like I
Mhm.
always used to say when there was a local rapper, sorry, but he wasn't good, but he's out there doing it. He was handing out his CDs, he's up on stage, and another guy knows his clown. I'm like, but bro, you talk about it. He's fucking doing it. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Like, he's doing it. He's up on that stage.
Are you
You're
referring?
sitting here.
Are you are you referring to somebody I graduated with?
No, 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 no. This is up here in Superior. Some guys up here in Superior. So,
There's
but is
there's
there a
another
guy
one that
from
I
our
graduated with that's doing the
graduating
same thing. Yeah,
that's a rapper or
Tyler
just
Fraud.
talking shit? Never heard of him. I'm just kidding. I know who
Tyler
Tyler
Fraud.
is.
Tyler Fraud. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
don't know him, but I know of him.
Go,
So,
no, go look up his music, Breakneck the Mage on YouTube, and he's doing it too. So
perfect. Yeah, I mean, like, okay, I bragged about having 300 followers on Friends of the Squared Circle. People are laughing, like, oh, wow, blah, blah, blah. It's like, well, at least I'm trying. At least I'm grinding. At least I'm getting out there and doing things. This was supposed to be a once a month podcast. This wasn't supposed to turn into 2 podcasts. This wasn't supposed to be a weekly episode. This wasn't supposed to be me going and pitching stickers and 4x4 autographs at wrestling shows. But you know what's coming next for Friends of the Squared Circle? Next year, I hope to go to Detroit, hang out with Mike D in the 313. We got to give him a shout out because that's our friend. We're talking about how he's going to come to Minneapolis. He's never been here. I've never been to Detroit. We're going to promote at wrestling shows to get our numbers even higher. And I'm almost to 1,500. Before I'm celebrating 300, and now I'm, almost to my 2,000 goal. And I think that's very obtainable by the end of 2024 or more.
Mhm.
So
Definitely.
you're putting in the work. I applaud you both. You're both doing something you love. Fuck what people say, man. Like
well,
I'm dropping F bombs. I'm swearing now, but you're
but
out there putting in the work. So
you you talk about how Jace is jealous, that I got into this and I'm doing it. Well, I mean, Cal, you're doing it too. You have your own spot in this space just as much. So, don't be sleeping on the fact that you're putting in the work, you're doing the stuff too, and you're also walking in this space. I think that you're a little chicken shit sometimes, but that's okay.
yeah, all the time, pretty much. But the other thing too is like I told Cannon, I'm walking in like I'm setting up the vendor table at Heavy on Wrestling. It's my second or third one, and I'm walking in with Eric after I just gave him this awesome fucking Funko Pop of Home Alone because he watches the movie every year. You can check out his Instagram; it's probably on there today. But like, I'm walking in with him, like, dude, what's surreal is that half the time I'm standing out in that line for an hour and a half waiting to come talk to you, and now I'm walking in with you. And he jokingly says, "You made it, kid." And I was like, "I didn't make shit. I paid to be here." Like, yeah, but it's still cool to get in and see, the guys and gals like you just hanging around, setting up the ring, bullshitting, seeing those other personalities, and then as soon as those doors open, watching that switch is just something else. Shout out to my buddy, Mr. Oliver Williams, there of the Mafia. Him and I are just bullshit, but as soon as he comes out, he doesn't want nothing to do with me. He's like, "Who are you, peon?" So, but
Well, yeah, it's like you said. Like
a certain
I'm
guy.
pretty. Hey, it's my turn again, Kevin.
there he
It's my
goes
turn.
again. Just
Yeah, like I'm pretty like quiet, laid back, like very like respectful, like daily life. And then I get out there and I get to yell at people and scream at them and tell them they're stupid. It's so much fun to actually just get to, like you said, flip that switch and go into character and just get to do things that you normally don't get to do. You like tell Kevin Hawk that he's stupid and he's just shut up. And it's been so much fun to go back to your point earlier. Like when you're doing something that you love and that you're passionate about, it just makes it so that you don't even feel like you're there from 3 o'clock until almost midnight sometimes, setting up the ring, doing the show, tearing down, but you're having so much fun doing it. It doesn't feel like work because it's something that you enjoy.
Yep. The payoff is even greater.
Mm-hmm.
And we'll wait for that 3-second pause and go ahead, Jared.
There's 3 people in the Showtime locker room that if you were to talk to them before the show starts, you would go, "That's not who I thought that would be at all." And one of them is right in between the two of us. And I'm not going to say the other two. It's just one of them, if he ever gets a chance to get his hands on you, is probably going to murder you. And the other one definitely would love to probably hit everybody in the pro wrestling scene with a chair. So.
Oh, wrestling is great. Wrestling is fun. And we don't like to use that F word, Randy. So in closing here, Bob, where can people find you? What's your message out there for the world? The time is yours. And then once we get to it, it'll be your time, Jared.
So I don't have a Facebook, or I guess it's called X now, not Twitter anymore. I will be working on setting one up in 2024, so keep an eye out for Bobby Storm on Facebook. I'll have all the obnoxious content you could ever want. But right now, you can follow me for Rad Lightning on Facebook. He is on Instagram. He's got great stories. He's been in the wrestling business almost 25 years. I know Kevin isn't a big fan, but Rad Lightning's got some great stuff. He completely revitalized his character right now with the whole Hollywood movie star. And you can check us out. We're going to have some content coming up, hopefully this week, on our Showtime Facebook page. So keep an eye on that.
Perfect.
Oh, are you done? Is it my turn? Let me first of all say, I am actually a fan of Rad Lightning. I'm just not a current fan of what he's got going on. He's a Hall of Famer. That should never be taken away from him ever. So let's make sure we acknowledge greatness when we're going to acknowledge greatness. If you want to follow me, you can follow me on Facebook, Kevin Hawk Facebook page. Still just kind of in the infant stages there, being a little more active there. And make sure you go to the YouTube page and check out Showtime Professional Wrestling on YouTube. Hopefully we can get that squared away and get that a lot more interactive. The Showtime Facebook page, also hoping to really be able to rejuvenate that, get that up to where I think it should be, where we all think it should be. And there's going to be Showtime all year this year, and just make sure that if you get a chance, come down and see it. You're going to see guys like Rad. You're going to see Bobby Storm, who whether I like him or not, is somebody who's only been doing this for about a year and a half now. Probably one of the better managers in our area, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. So Bob's really put in a lot of work and really become something special for us in Showtime, and it's been kind of nice. but we got a lot of good things coming, and this is the year that there's a lot of young talent to come and see in pro wrestling, not just at Showtime. Go check them out all over the place. If you have an indie show coming anywhere near you, and it's drivable for you, go see it, because I promise you're not going to be disappointed. You're going to have fun. You don't even have to be a fan of pro wrestling. Just go and have fun and allow yourself to just be immersed. Take it all in. It's worth your time every time.
Definitely. All right, we'll make sure that we put those links up on there. We'll have to have another Showtime Pro Wrestling Day on our Facebook at Friends of the Squared Circle. We're always loving and bragging about our friends. We even put Kevin Hawk over, as they say. We put him out there, got him a couple likes and follows. You're welcome. When you get that revenue check, don't forget to sign it to Crander Q. So, but before we go, we're going to put that beautiful... Yeah. We're going to put that beautiful video package in. And as always, thanks for being a friend of Squared Circle. It's your boy, Crander Q. Crander Q out. Hey, friends, thanks for tuning in to yet another exciting episode of Friends of the Squared Circle, where I'm your host, Crander Q, a.k.a. my real name. Now let's jump into the sponsors, shall we? Make sure to check out ChefKeithFoods.com for all of your salsa needs. The best made fresh since 2019. Flavors include Ragin' Reaper, Hoppin' Habanero, Groovy Garden, and more. Check out that website today. Also, check out our friends over at Superior Creations for all of your custom tumbler needs. They are on Facebook.com/Superior Creations MN. Also, Darren Corbin, give him a like on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. Yes, Darren Corbin is on TikTok. And another great way to support Darren is by checking out patreon.com/Darren Corbin, where tiers start at just $1. Last but not least, make sure you give us a like and follow on all of our social medias as well. We want to thank you for being a friend of the Squared Circle. Tune in for more episodes. Also, if you want to get merch for yourself, you can check out friendsofthesquaredcircle.org for all of those needs. And it's your boy, Crander Q. Crander Q out.